Well, Steve, it's been a week. Have you gotten tough enough to fly?
Not personally. I wasn't sure how to do it, what ridiculous exercises I'd need to do. I thought I might have to consult my doctor first. I didn't get around to it, Drew.
Well, I didn't either, and that makes us both worse than Mashle.
Yes, yes, that's true. Return of the boy who lifted.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, man.
You know what? The last episode, I thought they were just leaving us on a isn't it funny that Mashal still can't fly? But no, it was all resolved.
So we're starting to get into a habit of the show to do a little bit of a light to less light cliffhanger. Um, Before they were kind of a little more self-contained. Now we're starting the old hook and draw strategy. But before we get too deep in, for those who don't know, I am Drew Hayes,
And I am Steve Wetherell.
and we are both authors on the Authors and Dragons podcast. And this week we have Authors and Dragons Con.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah,
It's come around quickly.
yeah. We we throw a convention every year since 2019. Well, we did a digital one for 2020 for obvious reasons.
We were lazy.
Yeah, that was the reason. Too much booze. Uh, but we often do Adventure Brodeo, which is us playing games. But right now we're doing Adventure Showdeo, where we talk about various online or various properties, and by various I mean just Mashle.
Just Mashal.
Just Mashle. In theory, the show format could encompass more, but right now it's just Mashle.
Yeah, I mean, there may be other programs,
Yeah.
but none of them will be Mashal.
Indeed, unless they make more Mashle, in which case
Yes.
we-
That may be the future of this podcast.
it seems like almost certainly they will, based on the reception this thing is getting. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. Magic and muscle. What more is there to life?
so we got a lot to talk about for this one because we got two episodes in. We want to talk a little bit about A&D Con, which Steve will be leaving for tomorrow, and I will be out on Thursday. That's why we're doing this a little early. But episode 4 of Mashle opens with. We've called this the not Harry Potter thing a
It's
lot,
so.
and
Yeah, I mean,
they're
at
going
this
in
point,
hard.
I don't know if it's a joke we're doing, Drew, or a necessary legal protection. It's a very thin line. I feel like we have to call this not Harry Potter and not Quidditch. We may be demonetized.
Um, yeah, so we get the opening of 4 opens by telling us that there are in fact multiple dormitories at not Hogwarts. Which it seems to be just not Gryffindor, not Ravenclaw, not Slytherin.
Yeah.
The Hufflepuffs just got fucked off entirely.
Oh yeah. Well, who needs them, Drew? Really?
Just eat shit, y'all, I guess. Man, that.
Yeah. Well, this is a very this is a lot harsher than if there were Hufflepuff in this universe. They would have all been killed as babies. Let's be real.
Yeah, this is not a kind universe. We've seen that
No.
reinforced multiple times. We get some more reminders of it in these episodes, in fact. But uh,
I
we
made
learn.
up. Speaking of the dorms of Harry Potter, or not Harry Potter, I made up a Harry Potter joke once, Drew. I never got to use it. Do you want to hear my Harry Potter joke?
By all means,
How do evil wizards fuck?
they slither
They
in.
Slytherin. That's my joke. I made it up. I don't care if anyone else says.
So we so we open on an education about the dormitory system. We learn that Mash is in not Gryffindor.
Not Gryffindor.
They're playing not Slytherin in not Quidditch. They really did not stretch themselves in the slightest when doing the background for this world. Just fuck it, copy paste, copy paste.
It's just it's just a very bizarre fanfic in many ways.
What's the opposite of a raven? I don't know. I guess an orca. All right, yeah, that works for me.
Sure.
Air, water, small pig. I get it. Yeah, okay.
I even noticed
Orchidorm.
as we go through it, the kind of pig Latin Harry Potter stuff. They've done it in Mashle, but I guess because English is already a foreign language to them, they've put in even less effort. There's a few of those coming up that I want to talk about, but yeah, this one starts because we last saw Mashle being roped into a Quidditch game by his mate Tom, who's very enthusiastic, uh, very athletic believer type. And we last saw him because he can't fly. He doesn't have any magic powers. That's his whole thing. And the whole crowd was just booing at him and throwing garbage at him. And the narrator steps in. Mashle says to himself, "Oh, I should probably just go home." And the narrator says, "Yeah, you probably should." I'm not sure where the narrator's coming from, but this is the second time the narrator and Mashle have clashed. I'm starting to think that the narrative might resent Mashle.
I don't know. I feel like the narrator and Mashle were agreeing on that point.
Yeah,
I want to go
it's
home.
not very
You should probably go
encouraging.
home.
Yeah, you should probably go home. This premise is ludicrous. It's like the narrator was expecting a regular protagonist, and he's a bit pissed off about it.
It's a red situation, and you're Ash. Mashle's Ash. There's a progenitor who's supposed to be. I don't know.
So yeah, Mashle clearly doesn't believe in his ability to use magic here because he doesn't have any magic. But Tom Knowles, this just walking aggressive force of garbled cliches, just screams motivational catchphrases at Mashle until he's ready to be the hero. It doesn't work. Mashle seems... I don't know if Mashle has conventional emotional reactions or if he just recognizes that this Tom guy is a kind of annoying dick. But it doesn't work on him.
It feels like he is aware of the ludicrousness of his own situation. Sort of going back to the narrator thing. It's like, you can do it. He's like, no, I really can't. His reaction is what yours and mine if someone flew down and were like, okay, I need you to fly up and help us win this match. Like, I don't know what to tell you here, man.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Steve, I need you to open a portal into another universe. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Well, maybe you're just not believing in yourself enough.
Gotta tell you, man, feels like that's probably not the issue here.
But Tom, I guess nobody knows that Mashle doesn't have magic. They don't
Right.
really run into people without magic. So Tom's just shouting.
Yeah,
"Are you
they're not
glistening
allowed
the
in
fire called
society.
life? You need to be more like bamboo and other unhelpful things." He can motivate Mashle to defy the laws of reality. Yeah, so they're playing Quidditch. They're not allowed to use magic, but they do have to fly on the broom. So how did you think he was going to get around this, Drew?
I thought they were going to do a little bit of a similar play where he had leapt during the broom race. I thought he was going to, and he does jump up into the air,
Yes.
but the
Did
other
you for a moment think that he might just move his legs so quickly he hovers like a helicopter?
oh no, I definitely thought he was going to be like bouncing off the stands and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think they were going to take it there, but I liked it when they did. Just
Honestly, it was so shocking that one of the crowd temporarily forgot how to speak Japanese. Just everybody speaking Japanese. He does that, and somebody says, "Wow, that's amazing." In English, I was like, "What? Wait a minute! I've never been so surprised that I've suddenly started speaking Japanese." But and again, I've never seen a man hover with
just by
nearly the
kicking his
power of-
legs.
Yeah.
So maybe?
What do I know? Maybe. Maybe I just haven't been that surprised.
I mean, God, would that we were all so lucky.
Well, anyway, yeah, Mashle, he hovers using his ludicrous athleticism, and he's just shooting hoops basically with the power of his fingers.
So it's basically not Quidditch, but without the snitch.
Yeah,
It's a snitch, right?
Yeah, something like that. Just well, that always felt like cheating to me anyway.
Yeah, that was always dumb. And so they don't
Yeah,
have that. Instead, he just throws infinite curveballs
yeah.
through the goalpost, catches it again. Um, I
Still,
think he
to
maxes
me,
out the score.
yeah, he don't. Yeah, a 999 to 40 from 40 to 1 to 999. Yeah, he kills him basically. The crowd is shouting, "Sorry for throwing garbage at you, fungus boy," which I guess is as close as he's got to acceptance so far. I did like. I was reading Roald Dahl's biography the other day, and there are so many weird, contrived games that they play in private schools that have been forgotten in the mist of time. Like, all the easy ones lived on, except for cricket. I don't know how that survived. Yeah, I always thought Quidditch just sounds like a load of dumb bullshit, but I think there's just all these games lost to time that were just dumb bullshit, like weird snitch rules and things. I don't think any of them could fly. That's just an interesting aside. This version of Quidditch made more sense to me, and than many actual real games from my own history. So
Yeah, I mean it's basically just basketball except on brooms and without the
yeah,
point variance.
yeah, I can get behind that. That seems reasonable.
Yeah. If human beings could fly, this feels like a sport we would actually play.
We're not. We can't be that far away from like drone brooms, right? It's going to happen in our lifetime. The kids are going to be killing themselves on that in about 20 years, right?
I mean, I feel like the drone brooms will be used to hunt us down, but like they'll exist.
Yeah. Whoever comes after Gen Z will be chasing us down on electronic floating
Oh boy,
brooms.
that puts like
I'm certain of it, yeah.
the Wicked Witch of the West and the Flying Monkeys in a whole new perspective.
Yeah, yeah. That's how
Shit,
we're going
man,
now, Drew.
it's all drone metaphor.
I could attach a monkey to a drone right now. Who needs magic?
But that was magic back then, man.
That's true. There's no such thing as magic. It's just unknown science
Yeah.
or stupendous athleticism in this case.
I love the image of the flying monkeys just being a shitload of monkeys that have been strapped to drones.
I mean, it is just as terrifying, right?
Oh, it's more terrifying because those monkeys have no control and they are
It's like-
pissed.
Oh no, the monkeys have wings. So, oh, don't worry, they're just attached to drones. Yeah, you're right, that's worse.
That's like shaking up a can of beer and throwing it into a room, except it's a fucking monkey.
Oh my god. I wonder
Oh,
if someone must have considered like airdropping a load of crazed monkeys into an enemy position. No, I have.
I've seen Nope, so like, it's like Jesus. All right, that update to the Wizard of Oz is going to be terrifying.
Yes. Yes.
So Mashle, with his amazing run of score, unsurprisingly, they win the game and,
Win the game.
and win a silver coin, which
Yeah,
is
his first coin.
that's how you become a divine visionary, is collecting coins. How does
That is
that
the
relate?
quest.
We don't know.
No. But
But it
again,
matters.
convoluted point systems, these all exist in English private schools.
And then we get one of our first new characters who's in the intro. You can see he's the silver haired one with the two lines on his face. That we've got a little thing running below us for those who are watching on the YouTube. For those who are listening along, I guess go check the YouTube or Google it. That seems like the easiest fix there.
Those are options. Or use your imagination.
Yeah, that also works fine. But we have a character who popped up, and I have to say, knowing your thoughts about boarding schools, I was very curious to see your thoughts on Lance Crown.
Yeah, well, let's first of all, let's talk about Lance Crown, the name. I've been suspecting as we're going along that somebody just has an English boarding school name generator in Japan. It's like Lance, like knights, Crown. Like they got that shit over there, right? Lance Crown, that'll do it. Yeah, and I guess what's interesting about Lance comes in like a serious character. He's the straight A student. He's like a double line magician, which are one in a million, chosen by magic itself. And he comes in to challenge Mashle, immediately imprisoning his friends. We find out he has nearly, so very nearly, a noble motivation, but it's twisted beyond. This character's so very nearly like a normal guy that you could relate to and like have like as a serious counterpoint to Mashle. If it was not for his weird obsession with his sister, um, basically Mashle and him, he needs to get the coins. We don't find out why till later. He traps Mashle's friends in a bottle. He's going to drop it off a cliff. While they're scuffling, Mashle opens a locket. He knocks off his neck. And it's a picture of a little girl. And he's like immediately like, oh,
I need
no.
to call the police.
Yeah, I need to. He's a lolicard. It's like, I need to call the police. I need to check this guy's hard drive. I'm like, there we go. The other shoe's dropped. That is actually worse. Because Lance is like, hey, I'm not a pedophile. I'm a sisterphile. Like, that's not any better, Lance. I mean, he does explain it, and he tries to explain it. He has an ill sister. His sister used to look after him, his little sister. He's got kind of a guardian aspect to him. And she's got this disease where she's losing the magic, and it looks like there are stark consequences for that. Her parents are talking about handing her over to the magic Nazis or whoever in charge.
Yeah, the parents.
So quite serious.
It's an interesting contrast to Retro, who we saw go to such pains to hide and take care of Mashle, who was not genetically, he was a baby he found. Whereas these parents, just their kid gets a disease that starts slowly eroding her magic, and they're like, well, gotta toss her to the government.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Put a harder edge to it, because it's not like, oh, some people are magic and some people are not. It's like, if you lose your magic, we're going to throw you in the same system. But yeah, pretty harsh. I would have thought that was all handled quite seriously. Lance is still really super weird about his sister.
It's an interesting thing with Mashle. I feel like they go out of their way to be like, okay, we're gonna give you the standard running crew of friends, but you're never gonna feel totally sure about rooting for them individually.
Yeah, I mean, Mashel's kind of, we've spoke about it. He doesn't maybe like connect with people, and possibly because he was raised in the woods. Maybe he's got a little bit of a condition, but I think he's kind of right not to connect too deeply with his friends, because they've all got something going on. They have this exchange where they're having the dramatic exchange, and Lance says to Mashle, "What's the most important thing in the world?" He's like, "Love, no. Freedom, no. Human life, no. No, it's my sister. My sister is the most important thing in the world." Lance, you were very nearly noble, very nearly honourable, but you just had to go full anime, didn't you? You never go full anime.
They always tweak it a little too far.
Yeah.
You got Lemon and her let's say unhealthy interest in Mashle. We have Lance and his too far devotion to the sister. I guess Finn is arguably just a coward, which, given the context of his life, it is not an unreasonable reaction.
Given the casual, horrific implications of Mashle's monster-like strength that he's surrounded by every day, I don't, judge him for being a coward.
Yeah.
Must be constantly anxious about that.
Mashle destroys everything he touches, and this guy lives in walking or like in touching distance of him. It's not unreasonable to be a little worried.
Yeah, Mashle might they share a room. Mashle might have a nightmare, and Finn will just wake up with a broken spine.
Yeah, it's you get Finn.
Or never wake up at all.
Finn is us. Finn is all of us.
Yeah, what I did like about this, Mashle and Lance have their It's not a fight. Lance is going to drop the bottle off the cliff. We found out it's a fake bottle because Lance is essentially a good guy. And Mashle has to catch it before it hits the ground. And we get our first named special move. I do like a named special move. I think if somebody does a special move without naming it, they've wasted their time. The Big Bang Dash, where he basically muscles up from a starting position and moves at the speed of light. And Lance says, is he using some kind of physical enhancement magic? And I really wanted Mashle to say, yeah, it's called lifting, bro. But he didn't.
Wait,
I just thought that would be the perfect time for it. But
which also brings forth a really interesting question. So, we've not really seen, with the exception of, like, I guess the not Dumbledore, we haven't seen people use more than one type of magic in Mashle's running group. So if physical enhancement magic exists, wouldn't it have been easier just lie and say he had that?
yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Just be like, he does physical enhancement magic. Oh!
Oh, I see. He's just super good at that one kind of magic. That's why he can fly by moving his legs quickly. It's all very believable as a cover story.
Yep. Didn't do it.
No.
But I also do like, yeah, I like the name thing. I like that he has started just saying the word, like, hamstring magic when he does something. It's like Mashle has realized, okay, if I just say something magic,
Yeah.
people will buy that.
This is beating the shit out of you magic. Abracadabra, bitch. Yeah, but, so he wins the encounter with Lance, and Lance honors the bet and ends up giving him some of his coins. So Mashle's about 3 coins up right now, and slowly sort of gathering his roster of weak supporting characters. So I think we're about to meet what might be my favorite character. Of the weak supporting characters.
Well, before we get to the would-be main character, I do like the little digression they take to make a Mandroga potion, where we learn that everything Mashle cooks becomes a cream puff.
Turns into a cream. Mandroga were absolutely awful. They managed to make them truly awful. I do like how Lance, because they introduced Lance back to that, and he's like, yeah, I'll help you with your potion assignment. When Lance walks in, Mashle's like, oh, it's the paedophile. And Lance is actually that sister fucker, I'll have you know. It's like, they have a rapport. But, yeah, he offers to help him with their potion, and for some reason, everything Mashle, he's an extremely good cook, providing the end result is a cream puff. And no matter what he does, the end result is a cream puff. Yet to know if that's just, again, I'm never sure if Mashle knows when he's fucking with people. Or if he's just an agent of chaos, I don't know.
Well, I like that they do it once where he follows all the steps that Lance does and it comes out as a cream puff. And Lance's like, are you fucking around? He's like, no. And so they go again, and this time they go step by step with him, like, Lance going and him going, like, each in succession. And then at the end, it's a cream puff. And Lance's like, when the fuck did that become a cream puff? I watched him the whole time.
Again, he could just be using his super speed to fuck with Lance. Don't know what's going on here. Lance just says say to him, it's like, you're completely useless when not fighting. Mashle's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why so confident about that? But yes.
In the next
then
episode, we're introduced to
Dot.
Yes. Dot Barrett, which is an old lady's name. Again, they're just picking these names at random. The would-be main character. I like this guy. We're introduced a bit more to the Langdorm, the Slytherin of this not Harry Potter franchise. The obvious bad guys. But Dot Barrett's whole deal, the first time we see him, he just walks through a crowd of people like a tough guy. Somebody's like, hey, walked right up in our faces there. And his retort is to beat the shit out of everyone and say, what am I supposed to do if I'm not walking up in people's faces? I do like that he's just sort of, I am this guy. You're all side characters. I'm the main character, and this is how I act. It's a strong opener. He's even got the kind of like main character haircut. I'm not sure what I want to say. Not Yu-Gi-Oh! There's definitely some kind of mainstream anime where main character has that exact haircut.
Yeah, it's a very. Oh, he just popped up below us. Yeah, it's a very protagonisty haircut. Headcut? What the fuck?
Heck, I don't know. I don't know how they do things. Yeah, he's a number one character in this world, or at least he thinks he is. So instantly doesn't really get along with Mashle, who's the actual protagonist. See, I don't know if he's like self-aware. He's in an anime, but he seems to sort of like glom onto the fact that Mashle's his biggest threat instantly. So maybe he does understand the narrative he's in.
Well, not instantly with Mashle. We learn he doesn't like good-looking guys, but that is not Mashle out of the gate. Not until he's showing off the physique.
Yeah, nobody's called Mashle good looking. They've called him Mushroom Boy a lot.
A lot of mushroom head, mushroom boy.
Lemon likes him, but she's got some kind of problem.
And Lemon is, in fact, the instigation of the issues between Mashle and Dot, because, as we established, Lemon is very much a big fan of Mashle, and Dot, it turns out, has some very internet troll-like thoughts on women showing attention to anyone who's not him.
Pretty incel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got kind of, it's like, there's a 1-to-1 ratio of men and women, so, sex communism, but
why it's like if there's 1-to-1, why is no woman like me?
Yeah, there's something wrong with the system, man. That's it. But yeah, much like as it should be in real life, everyone just ignores him when he's kind of having these weird little rants to himself, which is right and proper, as it should be. He's not a total dick. He turns himself around. Later on, they're all out in a field for a test. The test is scorpions, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is scorpions.
They've been there 2 weeks now. Time to feed them to some scorpions, I guess.
This is not a nice world. Not a kind world.
No, yeah. Time to separate the children from the dead children, I guess.
Jesus.
Mashle, yeah, we meet this Slytherin bully boy. I forget his name, but Slytherin bully boy is basically what he is. He's a classic anime punk bully. He's given Mashle a hard time. So Lane's like, okay, Mashle, stay close to me, and if these guys fuck with us, we'll take them on. He immediately says that, and Mashle's just disappeared. And it cuts to Mashle, and he's like, oh no, I zoned out, and now I'm all alone. And I thought, that's never related to a character so hard.
Yeah. We've all been there. Ah, shit, I stopped paying attention for 10 seconds. Fuck.
No, I don't know what's going. Where am I?
I'm so lost. The party decided to do what? Wait, Klaus is dead?
There have been times on the podcast where I've just got... I need to pull something out of the bag here because I do not remember what happened for the last 5 minutes. People might have thought I was being contrarian, but no, I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, so the advantage, I guess, of him wandering off by himself is he meets up with Dot, who immediately freaks out on seeing him. He's still a bit angry about the whole main character thing. So Mashle just slaps him, which seems to work. Seems to sort of readjust his priorities. But Mashle says something I thought was a great line. After he slaps the guy, he's just licking his hand. It's like, oh man, you made me waste calories.
I forgot about that.
The idea that he's so kind of. I guess he must constantly be thinking about his nutrition and his exercise. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a ridiculous muscle freak. But the idea is like you made me take a pointless physical action that has done nothing but waste a perfectly good cream puff.
There was no gain in that movement.
Yeah, I didn't get stronger. I didn't eat a cream puff. What was the point of that? Yeah, but here's where we find out Dot's not such a bad guy, because there's a couple of wizards facing off, a womanly wizard and a manly wizard. And Dot's not having that. He's instantly like, you're raising your hand to a girl, you're done as a guy. So he takes the guy out. So he's pretty cool, but as soon as he gets attention from this female wizard, he falls apart. He just completely incels out. He cannot deal with female attention.
And, I mean, I feel like it's made very clear pretty quickly that she is doing a con on them, which it felt like from the minute we saw her in the evil dorm robes, it was like, oh, this is a trick.
Yeah, that's the problem when you get to like, okay, we've got 3 dorms, Dorm A, Dorm B, and Dorm Chaos Evil.
Yeah.
What kind of people do you put in a Chaos Evil dorm? Oh, the chaotic evil ones.
Just, if someone's a piece of shit, they go into not Slither.
You see somebody in a shade of evil green with black highlights, just stay out of the way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's not very subtle. It does work massively on Dot. He's perhaps more so immune to seduction magic, or not immune to.
Vulnerable to. Mashle seems immune for one reason or another.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if this is kind of, I was raised in the woods and I don't really get it, or if he has some kind of difficulty processing emotions like everybody else does. It works out in his favor in this case. He's not succumbing to any seduction magic.
I took it as he's just not interested in somebody who doesn't lift.
Yeah, that's it. I think he's generally got. I always played Brandon Firemaster as asexual, because it never really sat well with me that he'd like anyone more than himself. So maybe he's just that deeply interested in his own development. He doesn't really have time to put that energy anywhere else. He's in a physical relationship with getting swole. That's what it is.
I feel like if we get to see a character who can lift comparable to Mashle, whether he swoons or not will be a very telling.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. So,
yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Be a hell of a turn.
So he's immune to the charms, but Dot is not, and automatically said, "Oh, I've been being harassed by psychopunk bully boy," which is I guess her way of getting Dot to kill himself by going up against the slithering bad boy. He does, because he's an idiot.
A well-meaning idiot, but an idiot.
A well-meaning idiot, still an idiot. And he's got some moves. I think all of his magic is just explosion magic.
Yeah, he is all offense.
Yeah, he's just like, abracablam. That's it.
Abraca shotgun, motherfucker.
Again, I was talking about the pig Latin that they use for Mashle, which is even less advanced than the Harry Potter stuff. When Lance was doing his gravity attacks, shouts ravioli, which I thought was great. But Dot's attacks, he basically does just say explode.
Yeah, explode bomb. Just explode and bomb mixed together.
Explode bomb. Yeah, it's not particularly original, but there's a theme here of saying an English word vaguely differently and saying, well, it's magic now. It works. I'm here for it.
Yeah, Mashle's is the cleanest linguistically. Hamstring magic. That's what's going to get him busted. He doesn't call it ham run.
Yeah, ham run. But, yeah, So Dot, armed with his nuke magic, goes to town on the bully boy. Does not work. The boy's got protective earth magic, which he uses to uppercut Dot's lungs out through his nose. Um, yeah, it's looking pretty bad. While he was doing this, he accidentally knocks Mashle's cream puff out of his hand, so he's dead. So
Yeah.
I fully expect the next episode to start. It's just his corpse. We could just move on.
We just zoom. It's a zoom in on his face, looking like it's triumphant, and then as you slowly pull out, you realize the head is connected only to the spine, which is hanging limply in the wind, gripped in Mashle's fist.
Just a single accusatory dropped cream puff near his mangled corpse. Yeah, it doesn't really have to big deal. I think we get it. I think we all know how this is going to play out.
It's a formula, I think, right now. Of course, as they're establishing the running crew, you got to have your B team so that you can have your fights with stakes, because
Yeah,
obviously Mashle's going to win his fights.
yeah, obviously.
But yeah, that is Mashal episodes 4 and 5. We will, of course, eventually get to 6 and 7. I'm not quite sure when. We might be shifting back to regular Brodeo, but I know that this week we are very, very busy with Authors and Dragons Con. Holy shit, man!
Holy
This
beans.
it is going on. Yeah, Steve flies out tomorrow. I fly out Thursday. We're heading up to Portland, Oregon for Authors and Dragons Con. You can go see the full schedule on our website right now, authorsanddragonscon.com. We have guests including Matt Dinneman, Amy Landon, Actus, Jeff Hayes, MK Gibson, Scott Burtness. um, I know, of course.
Matt Yomark, David North.
Yes.
Who else am I forgetting? There's a
We
lot
have
of
Ben
guests.
Robinson of the Geek Exploration podcast coming out to help us again.
John
Um,
Luther Davis doing some art and some figurine painting.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool. Yeah, he's doing a whole special session of miniature painting at the con. Um,
Oh, that's going to be cool.
we have a room dedicated to gaming, where there will be board games and places where you can play them. Almost every one of the authors from A&D will be there running a game at some point. I mean, or playing a game. I'm doing Red Flags, for example. So that's not really a running game. It's just a thing you play. Steve's going to do Hero Quest. John and Teresa are going to play Magic. I know Joe is playing Suro. I think Bob is going to do Settlers of Catan. So a lot of opportunity to come just hang out and play games with the
Mm.
authors you like. We have main stage games. I have a special quiz show with all sorts of fun prizes and even complimentary snacks. So, yeah,
Mm.
it's going to be a cool ass run.
I'm really hoping that nobody checks my bag going out here this time. Something, it's like normally like the shorts and the bandit mask. People, your average backjacker, he's just going to say, well, he's just traveling to some weird sex thing. That's fine. Probably get it every day. But if they do that and there's like a vintage Hero Quest board in there as well, I don't know. I don't know if I could look them in the eye if they checked my bag. Just
Too
it's gone too
cool.
far.
Oh, all right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for this Adventure Brodeo, Adventure Showdeo special. We will see several of you this weekend, but for those we don't, we'll be back next time on another Adventure Brodeo. Until then, bye.
Bye.